are certain factors that ensure that we're going to see this human trafficking nightmare, and it has to do with the behaviors of modern men and women. At the top of the list, it would be the people that they hate the most, and when certain people are hated because of their appearance, because of the sound of their voice, because of their information, right, then they're being ignored. And I've been ignored. And the reality is, there is a lot of white men in this culture that are all about human trafficking. While they project onto Muslims, there's plenty of ways in which we can see the messaging from right-wing websites as to what they're all about, as to their desire to pick up women by their legs, by their torso, and to thrust them over their shoulders and basically to kidnap them. Of course, after they kill their Muslim or non-white husband or boyfriend, right? So there's plenty of ways in which the evil of the men of this society that have actually gone to foreign countries and have labeled people from other places the enemy, how they're actually preparing for a worst-case scenario with women. And, someone that they admire, someone that the system promotes to them, Nick Fuentes, said that when they take over, right, because, they're going to be placed in power by those that control the algorithms, that women are going to be the first to go into the gulags. But what makes women responsible? How are women not victims? Now, I've been doing what I've been doing for a long time. They don't care about anything that I have to say about human trafficking and how it's important that they see a man like me who's doing the right thing. And especially if it's of the heritage that their people are killing. While I'm being blamed, while my people are being blamed, even though I'm half-half, while my father's people are being blamed for all the world's rape and terrorism, right? There's no sign that women support what I'm doing or saying. Furthermore, they take it a step further and they try to brainwash women into walking away from men, not looking to men for spiritual advice. So what we're dealing with both men and women, predominantly in this culture, but also others, are demons. Demons that are running the show. And that's actually why we're dealing with people that have an allergy to spiritual concepts, like the idea that we're connected by the sun or to the sun, and then even more so, that people that aren't grounded, certain souls that are basically like bad apples, that they won't grow no matter what, they'll do bad things with all that energy. They'll act like they're possessed during periods in which there's increased solar flares, and they'll go out and rape. And I can tell women about this, but because they have their own misogyny, because they have their own hate within, because of the way that modern women are, right? They like to position themselves as like the ultimate feminists, but they're actually proponents of slavery and the matrix system. In reality, modern women, right? And they won't do anything even in 2026 to recognize the role that I've played in showing periods in which, things are the most dangerous for women. Thus, women and those that care about women, be it their husbands, their sons, their boyfriends, there are certain measures that one should look into when it comes to self-preservation and then when it comes to personal discipline, right? That includes sexual discipline. Now, men get a bad rap. All men are this way, all men are that way, all men are raping because of Epstein. And so while they marginalize innocent people, women won't hear out the negative attributes of women when they don't actually support the good men in society that are fighting the human trafficking of women, right? The common theme here, and what I've noticed with both my mother and the woman that I live with, as well as others, and it does seem to be like a cardinal truth, is they're never sorry. They're never actually apologetic for what they've done to us. So I've been saying for a long, long time that the women of 2075 will come to know my name. It's not just a mantra that I'm bringing to life, it's reality. And through the things that I'm speaking of right now, if the files are preserved and they're not destroyed, and they are leaked or shared by somebody, say after I'm gone or after I'm dead, then it's going to continue to provide life coaching advice to women to survive in the world as we know it. advice that they didn't get from their mom, their dad, their grandma, or their grandpa, nor the media, nor social media. And it's really going to take men and women in the future, a situation where they are removed from technology, or they don't have technology, all they have is a book. And then when their mind is quiet, and they're reading, and they're looking for knowledge, and they appreciate the knowledge, and they appreciate the insights. It's not just like, one website competing with zillions of other websites. It's maybe the only book that they have. It isn't until someone's able to focus in that type of environment or circumstances, in the modern world at least, that a certain person can get it. Because we're in a modern day and age where people don't want to read. And that's the thing. So I've tried for a long, long time to get my book out there into the hands of women. If they don't want to give me a chance, if they don't want to read the book, then there's a greater level of discrimination going on. It could be like, wow, you're short, you're ethnic, you're this, you're that, I will have nothing to do with you. You're not the idea of a man that I should go for, according to social media and according to my peers, she might say. So I found myself in 2026 basically in a nightmare. And it's very important that people learn from experiences like mine, because it gives them a glimpse of what's going on and what the future will bring. Right? So I'm telling you, this is very out of balance for people to live amongst each other, but to be programmed to not be social with each other or to talk to one another, for everything to come through the phone. And a person could be basically blacklisted by the establishment because of things that they have said, and they may find a lot of difficulty, for example, on social media or even dating apps. Doesn't matter what it is. Because of their face, because of their barcode, they are suppressed and they are held back. And now they're going to want our face, they're going to want our barcode, they're going to want our digital ID, just to get on the computer so they know who everybody is. So we're actually dealing with an attack on our species. These people that have turned up their nose at me, they're at war with our species. In their own mind, it might just be with men, or it might just be with foreigners, or Muslims, or conspiracy theorists, or right-wingers, or leftists. But they're really at war with humanity. And another thing about the left and the right in America, this is something that's very important for you to understand. It exists for people that are within it, people that lean towards the left versus the right. The idea that the left is superior, the right is inferior, or the right is superior, the left is inferior. Do you realize why these modern humans gravitate towards these sides? When in reality, both sides brought us these never-ending wars. It's so that they can blame the other side and claim that they are innocent. It's the other side, it's the left, it's the right, it's this race, it's that race, without taking accountability for their own cruelty. Right? And the left is very, very cruel. The left is very, very racist. And that's the thing that people don't understand, that are right-wingers or Texans that see somebody with my physical appearance, and they're like, what are you doing in my midst? What are you doing in my coffee shop? What are you doing? And they don't realize that they're going around saying that the left is so loving, so kind to these people. They don't know how to separate how people really are versus the politics. Politics and people having a political difference of opinion on immigration has nothing to do with whether or not they're actually nice or hospitable, or people that would treat you with equality, or people that will let you rent from their homes or whatnot. White liberal Portlanders are some of the most racist, exclusive people that you will ever meet in your life, unless you're tall and white yourself, and pretty, or you're the perfect type of non-white token, right, that they can use as their poster child. As they say, we're not with him, we're not with him. Really? According to your actions and your energies over the years and your statements, sure seems like you are with him, and maybe gave him a few ideas of your own. So we're actually dealing with a reality also where people are so kinky right, and so disgusting with their spirituality and the type of porn that they watch, that they're not really, like, shocked anymore when they hear about a woman being gang raped. I mean, some women masturbate to it. That's not misogyny, that is a fact. So women actually call men misogynists when they're trying to highlight their irresponsible behavior. They're basically like bad daughters, basically. And in this world, like, there may be, like, you know, decent fathers and decent parents, but you can still end up with rotten children. And that's basically what we have right now with the influence of the media. You have a bunch of rotten men and women. So that's basically what's going on. And by modern humans not forcing the government to create certain rules and regulations to keep that rape porn away from the kids, now we're seeing the effect on the younger population. They've been screwed up by that stuff. So it's like when I go and I try to meet somebody and try to make a friend, a lot of these women now, they've been watching a lot of raunchy porn. And what are they seeing when they watch that raunchy porn? Tall white guys with demon tattoos, with Odin tattoos, with satanic tattoos, and big black guys. Basically, whites and blacks ruling the world. Basically, what we're seeing from the military and ICE, blacks and whites committing violence against olive skin, tan skin, brown families. Essentially, that's what we're dealing with. And so a lot of modern women, they don't actually care about various, you know, non-white groups. Some of them may have a thing for a few Hispanics or black guys. But beyond that, left-leaning women are very allergic to dudes that look Persian or Arabic, right? Now, in this modern society, they're making it basically next to impossible for me to get my word out there to other people. But even if I do get 100 viewers or 150 listens on Substack, they're still not going to engage with me and be like, I'm the exception to the rule, I care about you. So understand, like, even Middle Eastern women that are in America are poisoned by our system, are poisoned by these cell phones. And they won't listen to what's taking place regarding their own people, regarding Muslims or Middle Eastern women or any of this. They'll unsubscribe from my newsletter on Substack just because I have a perspective that they don't have, and or they're afraid and they're not willing to address it, right? It doesn't matter how many bits of confirmation that we have that these things are happening. There's always going to be people in our world that are going to throw people away that are only trying to help them, right? So there is some sort of self-destruction taking place to not just the white race, but the entire human race. And people blaming the left for immigration or the existence of brown people isn't the proper example of that. But it is interesting how the left will be very open, claim to be very open to immigrants from various places. They'll love to, especially the NPR types, position themselves to be the friends of the women in the hijab because they care so much about the woman and freeing her from the clutches of the men that are suppressing her, without actually warning that Muslim women about what her own brothers are like, what their own fathers are like. We're talking about right here in the white world order. You know, women in this white world order are possessed by dark forces to think that this is a more superior system, or that women are freer, as they are trafficked systematically by Epstein and his brothers. And that's what we're really dealing with. You know, when you look at the evil of this world, when you look at Megyn Kelly promoting Fuentes, that is a woman, that is a white woman, by the way, who looks like a gray alien, who is doing her part to promote a human trafficker, to promote the end of women's rights. Right? So there are many, 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 many women that are working overtime for MAGA and other groups to ensure that people like Epstein are never, ever touched. As they maintain their allegiance to Trump, all Trump has to do is just kill and detain and hurt and threaten the people that they hate. And they will allow him to get away with everything. And so through that matrix, we can see, in case you didn't know, how the modern men and women of our society in this white world order are ensuring and guaranteeing a human trafficking epidemic, and it's coming from their own hand.